What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. So, a number of changes have taken place with RAF 11 and RAF 12. Mainly, Colby Covington versus Bilal Muhammad has been removed as the co-main event in Cleveland on August 22nd and moved to what would appear to be the main event September 19th in Miami. Also from the card, I don't want to call it an influencer bout, but you also have the Larry Wheels versus Tarzan match has been removed from that card in Cleveland and moved to the card in Miami. Now, I assumed something was going to happen. That's why I was shocked no one's really covered this, but I had let this go for a couple days because for about a week, you've had Gable Steveson added to this Cleveland card, but the same way they put Armin Sarukian and Muggsy to lead and open the card is the same thing they're doing with Gable Steveson here. So that had actually been added for a couple of days. Then they started to kind of move around the order of the card. But right now, they have promoted Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo 2 as the main event. Now, those two were originally scheduled at RAF 8 as the main event in Philadelphia. Henry did not feel well prior to the fight. They went ahead, pulled it. They moved it to Georgia. And in that fight, really had a full run by Cejudo. I think he got out to an 8-0 lead. And then Merab came back down 8-0, of course, to I think run 9 or 10 back right away. It was insane how the actual match played out. So apparently they're going to run this back, what should be for the third time, but in reality, what is the second? Jordan Burroughs versus Sean Brady has been moved to the co-main event, where it had essentially been the main event most of the time. And then you have Woodley and Buckley also, as I covered earlier, on that card as well. So I think from a Colby Covington standpoint, this probably works out a little bit better because it is going to be in Miami. Obviously, you know, Colby claims he is the king of Miami. It seems more fitting for him to have a match there. As far as another match between Cejudo and Dvalishvili, every time they've been really competitive and fun. Anytime you get to see Gable Steveson, obviously you should do it. The guy proved himself now in the UFC. Massive odds as a favorite, but went in kind of the not-so-common mythology of I'm going to be the wrestler that strikes and is also obviously a world-class wrestler. I don't think you're going to see Gable Steveson maybe outside of a fight night main event. You might only see him on numbered cards. So if you get an opportunity to go and see him, be a great time to do it. I am myself going to be in Cleveland covering this entire event as well as more than likely Miami. So main event, both cards absolutely stacked. It's one thing I really like about RAF. You get access to wrestlers, to fighters that you might not normally have access to for the same price point. If you had to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to go watch competitions between Merab, Cejudo, Jordan Burroughs, Sean Brady, Tyron Woodley, how much money would you have spent over the past 5 years going and watching all of those people compete? And I know somebody will sit there and tell me, well, it's not the same because this is wrestling. You're still seeing that athlete. So if your objective is to just check the box that you've seen that person compete, then this gives you that opportunity. And the reality is, if you've, just as an example, although it's quite a stretch, if you tell somebody, hey, I went to a Super Bowl live, does it really matter which Super Bowl you went to? Or is it the fact that you simply went to one? If you say, hey, I went to a World Series live, does it really matter if you went to game 1 or game 5? Or do you just want to say, hey, I went to one live? To put an actual MMA spin on things, I got to see Fedor fight live. Doesn't matter to me that it was at Bellator NYC. I just got to check the box that I got to watch Fedor fight live, and that's all that matters. RAF, as a combat sports fan, gives you the opportunity to see legends, to see up-and-coming stars, all compete at a time together that you might not otherwise be able to effectively afford going forward, or having went back. Love to know your guys' thoughts on this one. Appreciate you watching it. You know I will be back as soon as I can with more commentary.